Two guys, one sofa.
Hello, everyone. There's no easy way to say this. We watched the Ghostbusters reboot again.
It's the day the laughter died, people.
There's no way, off the bat, as every discussion about this film needs to start off nowadays, especially with the hashtag #MeToo movement going around. We are in no way sexist as far as we're aware when it comes to reviewing this film. We just think it's really fucking bad regardless of gender.
Yes. So
Don't throw that one at us.
it's been a long time coming. We've been planning to do this for quite a while. The retrospective look at the 2016 Ghostbusters. We did a review of it some time ago, in fact, as part of the 2016 end of year review, which was lost
That was
in the
the
annals of time.
That was the one that was lost on my phone.
Yeah.
Recorded, it never went up.
I mean,
So
before we get into it, just a quick thank you, as always, to everyone who listened to the last podcast, the end of year review for 2017. I think we're up in the 40s somewhere, as far as the listeners go.
I'm fine with that.
For a podcast that lasts an hour and a half.
That's
I'm
not too
more than
bad.
happy with that.
Kudos to you all.
And thank you to everyone who's registered already for or liked our new Facebook page.
Yay,
We've
look
set
at
up
us go
in the last week.
in our new official capacity.
Yeah, so going forward, it's going to be, where we update every time we put a new video up. We'll be doing some additional content. Graham's already put content.
Listen to us.
I know.
Oh, we're bloggers. we're those little
We're on the
15-year-old
internet
girls
now.
that say we're internet. If we can get to
Yeah.
the point where we actually film this podcast
Oh,
and
God.
turn it into like a vlog or whatever the modern. What is it still called a vlog? A video blog? A vlog?
It's called a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, if we get around to that waste of time, that's the goal, I feel. So you could see our etched expressions of pain when we discuss
Our
certain
weathered
things.
faces.
Yeah, you can put a face to the ramblings if you have not or do not know us already for whatever reason.
Niceties aside, as Graham says, this is the review of the 2016 reboot remake of Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters 2016, which was then titled Answer the Call.
Ghostbusters Answer the Call. So, before
It sucks!
I mean,
I hate it!
we could end it there. But before we get into that too much, just for a little bit of context.
Context.
No.
Yes.
One of the first things, we first got to know each other 2003, I think.
I believe
at
so.
college.
Yeah, something along those lines.
I think Ghostbusters, the original, was one of the first films I ever remember us talking about and
Yeah.
bonding over. I can't remember which one of us it was, but I think at some point in college, one of us said, "See you on the other side, Ray,"
Yeah.
in some unknown context, and it all went from there. Fair to say, one of our mutual favourite films of all time.
It is my favourite film.
That is your favourite film of all time.
It's either that or Wrath of Khan, and I can't
Okay.
pick between the two,
Okay.
personally. But it's up there. It's in the high esteem
Yeah, it's.
bracket for me. It shaped my childhood, as daft as that sounds.
Yeah, I think
because
that's fair to say. We're both certainly
cynical
cynical.
assholes because of Peter Venkman
Yeah,
and Bill Murray.
sense of humour is very dry, very sarcastic, and I think a lot of that is down to the fact that we're both such big fans of the originals.
I was saying we were introduced to that style of humour early doors when everybody was laughing at generic fall down jokes.
Yeah, it made me feel grown up. The fact that at a young age
Yeah.
I liked and understood Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in the highest esteem, the originals for me. Even the second one. I think the second one just gets shit on for no reason. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a bad film. It's not it's not the great film that the first one is, but it's still a very good film.
It's very, very funny.
It's just that it doesn't add up to the first one because the first one is that it's just on its own planet.
and they rehash a lot of stuff in the
Yeah.
second one, but it still stands up as a very funny sequel.
Yeah. I mean, it just gets shit on quite a lot, especially with this new one coming out. It was a point to instead of critique the film or defend the film from critique, a lot of people then decided the best way to go about that is bashing the originals, especially number 2. So just because of that, I've doubled down on my love now for Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, and I mean, we ask ourselves this before every podcast we do, but why are we doing this? In particular, this film It caused a lot of controversy in the build-up to it, I think it's fair to say, for various reasons which we'll get into later on. But, it sort of came and went without a great deal of fanfare in the end. I think it was just... Some people did seem to like it, a lot of people hated it. And then it just sort of disappeared.
And that was that.
Really spoke up again. So why, a year and a half down the line, have we decided to do this?
Ratings.
Yeah.
People know us, that obviously listen to these podcasts by now, no doubt know. I know my friends know of my disdain and loathing for this film. I have ranted many times on many forums, in person, at bars, it's cinemas, to people serving me popcorn for the film that I watch after it. Just people over the phone, just that I've called up, especially after leaving the cinema, to rant about it.
Oh, I remember that conversation.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that a lot of people, one, knew this was coming, but two, they haven't let it go. Every time it has a chance to crop up, people still like to poke the stick into my side and just say, well, that Ghostbusters remake, because they know it will set me off. And for some reason, I don't know if they're doing that because my pain brings them pleasure, or it's just the pleasure of me ranting about something, and because I'm so passionate about it, maybe they appreciate it. I don't know, but that's how I saw it. That, and also education. I want to educate people somehow.
Let's talk a little bit then about how this film came to be, because I think you followed it reasonably closely, because the third Ghostbusters film was something that was talked about for a long time, way before it ever became this. I mean, I've lost count of the amount of times over the course of our friendship that you've sort of sent me a message, called me up and said, I think they finally got an idea, they're finally doing the third Ghostbusters. We were teased many times. So
many teasers. And like you say, it went from pretty much the second one. I think, straight away, I mean, the big holdout was always Bill Murray, by all accounts.
Yes.
He's known for not liking sequels in particular. So to get him to do number 2 was a bit of a coup. I think that everyone's openly admitted that.
And he's also the one that's least passionate about the Ghostbusters, full stop. Yeah. I think it's just a film to him.
Yeah, it's a character. It's one of his famous characters to Bill. Whereas, like you say, Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis...
It's a passion.
It's a passion because they created it. They crafted this whole universe themselves.
That, Dan Aykroyd is generally into this stuff, the paranormal and ghosts and things like that. He's a bit of a nut job.
So, I mean, they've got the passion. So, like you say, that they drove it, and it was a vehicle to... I mean, Bill Murray was already a big star, but I think Ghostbusters was the one that sent him into the A-list category. Yes. I mean, he was always like the big comedian of the time, from what I can make out. I mean, we weren't old enough to understand it back then, but the 80s, Bill Murray was always part of the SNL crew. Yes, so he's always one of them rather than standing on his own kind of thing. And I think between this and Groundhog Day, another Harold Ramis film, it, like you say, it just exploded for him because Ghostbusters just transcended genre. It transcended audience.
It wasn't just a comedy. It wasn't a sci-fi. It
wasn't horror, but it all had its elements.
A pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah, and this is why it did so well.
It was like Star Wars. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, like I say, ever since the second one, blah-de-blah-de-blah, holdouts. They might do it, they won't do it. They ended up doing a video game. Yeah. Which, the story to the video game was good. Like, if you put the cutscenes together, it makes a decent, that. By all accounts, that is your third Ghostbusters film.
Well, I think they've said as much. I think they've openly admitted this is the closest you're going to get.
Yeah.
But sadly, that's not true.
And then... Sadly, and then, like you say, Harold Ramis died, and everybody thought it's going to go two ways. Well, we all knew it was the Ghostbusters as we knew it was, nailed. Yeah. Those nails
were
in that
coffin. The chance for a third Ghostbusters was gone.
Yeah. If they were going to maybe possibly do a third reboot and just pay homage to Harold at some point, that was the last bit of a tether that we were clinging to. And then they went, we're making a new one with all female leads, and we're just like, okay. But then it came out, and this is the biggest problem of it all: Reboot.
Yeah, that was a massive, massive problem. Because we were very much on board with the idea of an all-female cast for a number of reasons. Firstly, because, as we've discussed on the podcast before, a lack of female leads in the big Hollywood films.
Yeah.
So it's redressing a balance there. And also, I think if you're going to try and avoid comparisons to the original, it's a better way of doing it. I think if you'd gone down the all-male cast, and we think about some of the names that were always mentioned for that,
No.
you know, your
You would
Seth
always-
Rogans and
you
your
would go for your Jack Blacks
Blacks.
and
Jack Black
yeah.
is exactly who I was thinking of. People like that. I could
Ben
think
Stiller.
Ben Stiller, Michael Cera.
Yes.
People like that.
Jason Bateman, although I would pay to see a Jason Bateman.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
People like that.
Yeah.
We know the sort of people, and the comparisons would always have been there. It was like, oh, Seth Rogen's no Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And I think they hope to avoid that with the all-female cast. And we had our own opinions on who those females should have been. I know Emma Stone was approached and turned it down. She didn't want to be part of a franchise.
After speaking to Bill Murray, no less.
Yeah.
Bill Murray not only held out for himself, he managed to hold out for Emma Stone
He
in
saved
this.
Emma Stone. Saved her career.
So, in that retrospect,
Swings and roundabouts.
yeah,
for Bill
I say
Murray.
Bill Murray's made up for a few things we're going to address with him later.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I spoke before about I wanted Kristen Schaal. She's a comic actress
Yes.
I'm a big fan of. I think she would have been very good.
I always hold
In
out
the
for
sort of
Kristen
the-
Bell.
Yeah, I know
because
you talked about Kristen
I have
Bell
a thing for
previously.
Kristen Bell, but also she's a geek fandom
Yeah, exactly.
sweetheart.
Someone like Simon Pegg who has that sort of
Yeah.
ready-made geek credibility.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there was nothing against the female actresses, and I know this is a lot of people say this before then they go off on a I'm not racist, but I'm not sexist, but, and then they go off on a tangent. Generally, we had no problems with this. Like,
An open mind.
I was looking forward to it.
Kristen Schaal, I think it's fair to say we're both a fan of Kristen Schaal, not just as a comic actress, but as an actress, full stop. She's got a good CV behind her. She's produced films as well, I believe. She's a writer.
Well, even the actresses that are in it. Kristen Wiig, I'm a huge fan
Kristen Wiig.
of Kristen Wiig.
Melissa
She's
McCarthy
a great actress.
Is a bit of a Marmite actress, I think it's fair to say.
I think she's typecast. I mean, I've seen the odd film where she isn't the fat one that falls down and goes boom. She's when it comes to dry humour, she can deliver that. But most of the mainstream films, because I don't actively seek out her,
Yes.
IMDb or whatever it is, and I only stumble across the odd film that isn't one of her mainstream where she plays to the trope of falling down all the
Yeah,
time.
she's a fat lady
Who's loud
falls
and-
over
yeah.
and loud and eats a lot.
She has a moment. She's not a bad actress. If you write her
She's
right,
a decent actress in a lot of bad films.
Yeah.
And as far as Kate
Perfect.
McKinnon and Leslie Jones go,
We
to
had
be
no
honest,
idea. I had no
we don't
idea.
really get SNL over here. I'm familiar with some of the classics from back in the day, but no idea who they were. I was
No.
willing to go in. I know certainly Kate McKinnon's got a great reputation. It's award-winning.
Yeah, suppose. Like I say, that was the thing. Like, the more you read into how highly rated Kate McKinnon was going
High
into
hopes,
it, you were just
yeah.
like, holy shit, this is,
Yeah, and she's got a cool look.
Yeah.
She's a
I'll say from the trailer, I like the idea of
the trailer.
the trailer. That was one of my only few positives that I grasped from that trailer to begin with.
Well, yeah. Since we've talked about the casting, let's get into that because that was where it all kicked off and all started to go very much downhill after they'd announced it was going to be a reboot.
Yeah.
The trailer.
Is it still the most disliked thing on YouTube?
I imagine so.
I mean, that got a lot of hate. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing, and this was the thing. I mean, it was justified hate. Yes, you had the odd person saying, "Oh, women can't be Ghostbusters," or "Oh, fat pig," or
Yeah.
and then some racist stuff as well. You get that. You get that in any comment section.
but
I'm pretty sure they're in our comment section
We'll
right now.
expand a little bit on that in a moment, but yeah, I think the trailer received a lot of hate, but
And it caused this uproar, this fury.
yeah, the studio were very, very clever and very, very cute of it.
Yeah.
And they spun it to their advantage because, as Graham says, there was, without question, some pretty horrendous, misogynistic.
For one in every
sexist-
10 comments, there was probably, or even less than that, probably one in every 50 comments,
Yeah.
there was somebody that was being a dickhead.
Yeah, sexist, racist.
Just the usual.
We can't pretend that stuff didn't happen, but by the same token, I think the studio took hold of that, and suddenly it became a case of anyone who had a criticism
Yeah.
must fall into this camp.
Don't criticise this film. Your opinion doesn't matter if you do, because you're just one of them sexist people.
Yeah, all valid criticism was off the table.
And there was so many criticism just from that trailer alone.
Yeah,
Rightfully so. I mean, we won't go into the trailer breakdown because we got to do the film. But I mean, let's say there was there was reasoned hate for it. There was established hate that was based in logic, in fact, and filmmaking in general. Like, even for a trailer, alarm bells massively rang for a lot of people.
Yeah, and this is where my biggest pet hate about this whole thing came in, because Paul Feig, who we'll again be talking about a little bit more later, the director and mastermind behind this film,
Paul Feig,
on his sort of media trail beforehand, very much on the, please just judge this film as its own thing. Don't compare it to the originals. You don't get to have your cake and eat it. Unless you're Melissa McCarthy, of course.
It's funny because she's fat.
I am one of them.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm fat, so I can use the F word
I've got lots of fat
for my
friends.
own people. It's fine.
Some of my best friends are fat. But he was very quick to say, don't judge us for anything. You can't use the Ghostbusters name, all the iconic imagery, the song. You can't have cameos from all of the original cast and then get to play the.
It's also the plot device. A lot of the plot devices are the same.
There's
as
a lot of comparisons in the plot.
That's right. The mayor, even the characters. Not I say even the tropes of the character. The mayor, for example, didn't have to have a mayor of New York, but it was in the first one. So
we've got to have it.
Got to have a mayor in there.
Got to have it. Got to have a receptionist for the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I like you said, and the other thing, like you said, in the trailer as well. It started off with 30 years ago, 4 friends or 4 scientists saved the world, and you were just like, oh, it's set in the same universe. Nope.
Apparently
that's stupid.
Yeah,
so again, you're already comparing it to the original that you're not wanting to compare it to. Yeah. But then, this is the logic of this film. That just perfectly sums up how poorly done this piece of shit is.
It's just so full of these strange little inaccuracies and strange little contradictions. I mean, if they were making a new film, paranormal, investigators, whatever, even if the comparisons to Ghostbusters were bang on the nose, you could at least give them that credit and say, you know what, let's just give them a chance to build their own universe, see what they do with it.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both ways. You can't call a film Ghostbusters, use all of that intellectual property, and still hope to be judged on your own merits. The comparison is going to be there, and it's up to you to create your own thing, and they completely failed in that regard.
Just from the ground up, you can just pick at every aspect of this film, and it's so like the script. I mean, basics. The script is shite, and we'll get into the reasons why the script is shite. The direction is shite. There's a few shots that, like, throughout that you're just scratching your head over. Like, this is basic cinematography that they're fucking up here, and this guy has a multi-million budget to do this.
Well, the direction is maybe where we'll start on this, because we did call Paul Feig, he's the director. What's his background? He did Bridesmaids, I think, was his?
He did Bridesmaids, which wasn't written by him. It was wrote by Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, she wrote
and
that film.
Someone else. I think she's been in loads of other films. Yeah, I think it's the best friend in that film. I think the two leads wrote this film.
Can't remember the name.
And they got Paul Feig to direct it. He's done a few episodes of Parks and Recreation.
The American Office.
The American Office. Stuff like that.
There's quite a lot of cameos from people from the American Office in this film.
Just odds and sods, really. And I mean, like, he fell onto his feet with this Bridesmaid film. The script that was delivered to him. It was a funny film. I wouldn't go overboard on it. I enjoyed it the one time I watched it. I've not gone back to it since in 10 years, but still, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't come away from it thinking, well, that was piss.
A one and done, as we say.
Yeah, a one and done. It ticked boxes that needed to be ticked if you were in the right frame of mind to watch it. And he fell onto it, and he's made his career out of this film that he didn't even write.
Exactly.
He just, again, there's a lot to be said about direction. It is an art form, but Paul Feig's stuff, like, if the script's good enough, all a director really needs to do is say action and cut. If it's a really good script.
And I think the biggest problem is that word cut, because what we need
is a razor to slit my own fucking wrists after watching Ghostbusters.
Oh, we'll be coming to that. Don't you worry. But when you're doing something like this, you need a strong director with a clear vision.
Yeah.
Who's just going to put his foot down and say, "This is what we need to do."
Yeah. Stop.
We do not get that here.
No.
And this is where I'm going to make a bit of a confession that we didn't talk about before we went into this. I tried about 2 weeks ago to watch the director's commentary of this film.
Oh, wow.
I put it on. I got about 20 minutes in. Yeah, well, not actually watching the film, it's just there in the background.
Yeah.
So I could just listen to it. And it summed it all up.
Oh, dear God.
Paul Feig strikes me as a perfectly nice guy, you know? Nothing bad to say about anyone, not slagging anybody off.
Well, he
Seems like
slags
a
off the
perfectly nice
internet
man.
enough, or anybody slags
Well,
off his goddamn movie.
There's certainly that. But I think that was the problem. Everyone's amazing. Everyone is so great. Everyone is one of the best actors I've ever worked with. One of the best improvisers. And there's that word, improvisers. Because instead of having this clear vision, this clear direction, he just pointed a camera at his actors and his actresses and just went, go, do your thing, and we'll see what happens. And it
shows.
It's clear as day.
Yeah, it shows. Like you say, everybody's always talking.
Yes.
There's always something happening. I mean, if this is a film about ghosts, even when you're trying to build suspense, like, for instance, there's a scene when Fatty McFatface gets possessed by the ghost.
Yes.
But before she gets possessed by the ghost, obviously, she has a knock on the door, opens the door, but no one's there. But as she's walking down the corridor to this door, instead of it building, because the light kind of flickers on and off or something, I think it was an ominous knock. You knew it wasn't just somebody turning up. You knew it was meant to be, preluding to something. So instead of just having it, tense, quiet, build the tension, just a little kind of, maybe even just a little bit of ambience in the background.
Open the door and there's some music, she can just like that.
Instead, we get Melissa McCarthy walking down the hall for 5 seconds, ranting at herself or something, saying, "Oh, somebody forgot their keys today. Oh, always forgetting the keys. I'm going to tell you next time if you forget your keys." And then she opens something. You're just like, "Fuck up! What? No." You didn't need to talk. Build the suspense.
It's so basic, and there's so many examples of that throughout the film that we could go into. And it's just the problem of improvisation. If you just let your actors and actresses off the leash, it's not going to work.
I think it's because again, the original Ghostbusters, even the intellectual property they take. But they've taken the basic premise that most people know, that a lot of Ghostbusters, or at least some of it, or some of its most famous lines, were improv lines by Bill Murray, by Dan Aykroyd. But they were just off the cuff, and they turned out to be some of the most go-to callback lines going. Because that's so well known, they went, "Oh, this is an improvisation. This film was built on improvisation, so we'll do the same." It wasn't, no. It had a script, it had a vision, it had a direction. I mean, Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, they knew what they wanted from this.
And it was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
As much as I'm sure, like you said, he had this vision and whatnot, they could not have anticipated.
Bill Murray just dropping gold
how well
everywhere.
That would work.
Yeah. And that was the thing. And then this one, they've, like you said, they almost taken that from the original and gone,
you can't
the original is this,
was,
and then they've tried to recreate it. It's just everything about it. Like I say, so script, too much babbling, too much always going on.
Too much babbling. The jokes. I say jokes.
You laughed once.
Yes.
I smiled, but you laughed. You audibly laughed.
I made a note of this.
You made a note of it.
Right.
Let me try and remember what it was.
I cannot remember.
So we laughed once during this film.
That's it.
Right. I've remembered it as well.
Right. Yeah. So, in one of our many callbacks to the original, they are being shown around by an estate agent, the
writer
firehouse.
Yeah,
and
it's the writer
film
of the film making a cameo.
A little Easter egg for that utter cunt.
Yes, she is an utter cunt. I can't lie.
So they're all very excited about this. They're running around, very excitable. And the Kristen Wiig character. It should have been Kristen Schull. Damn it! She would have saved this thundering.
No,
nightmare.
she wouldn't have.
Single-handedly, she'd have dragged this fucking Titanic out of its bad water, as you would call it.
This bad water. Yeah, cheers for that. Bringing that one back. Have your cake and eat it.
And so they're all very excited. They're ready to do it. And then the estate agent turns to her and goes, "It's just $21,000 a month." And without any hesitation, Kristen Wiig just turns to her, "Burn in hell."
Yeah, that's like quick delivery.
Quick delivery.
Perfectly timed. Deadpan, yes. I don't think she's even finished, like, sounding out the final syllable when she turns to her and says, it's like, and I'll be 21,000. Oh, go to hell.
Burn in hell.
Yeah, burn in hell. Yeah.
Which is exactly what I wanted to say to this fucking writer of the film, to be honest. That might have just been her.
I hope she does.
Yeah.
I actually, as an atheist, I generally want to be proven wrong just so I know she's going there with me.
Yeah, so that was the one laugh. In a 1 hour, 52-minute comedy film. Because let's be very clear, this is the comedy film. That's how they marketed it.
Yep. And that's the thing, it's a different style of comedy as well. Like the original, again, we have to keep on calling back to it because they call back to it so often.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters, as it's... You can say this till you're blue in the face, and I've said it over. Ghostbusters was well-crafted, perfectly timed dialogue.
Yeah.
It was dark comedy.
Yeah. Dry
Comedy, sarcastic, and it had that throughout the film. That was its tone. There was hardly any, like slapstick. Very rarely. I mean, Venkman got slimed off camera.
Yeah.
Which again was, but you didn't see him get slimed. Which, again, lightning in a bowl. Brilliantly done. This time, obviously, everybody needs, again, it's just slime. She gets slimed constantly in the film.
Oh, yeah, repeatedly.
Yeah.
This happens 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and it's like,
I think she makes a reference to it at the
it's like
end.
a running gag in the film, and it's like, okay, yeah, she gets slimed.
But that's it, it's not a gag, it's just something that keeps happening.
Yeah.
It's not...
If I wanted to see that, I'd turn on Dave Vincent Phillips' fucking,
Get Your Own Back.
Get Your Own Back. I'm sure that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, people getting slimed, if you do it right, funny. If you don't get the context right, and you just then double down on it 4 or 5 times, it's stop this. Stop it. Why it wasn't funny the first time.
The other biggest thing in the original Ghostbusters, jokes are actually allowed to breathe. You get a line and you get a moment to appreciate it.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in this one.
The pack in the lift. Perfect example. I suppose it's not a great time to mention that we've not fully tested this thermonuclear accelerator device on my back, and then Venkman just casually just.
I know it's that happens, and they look quite and they pause for a moment, they look sad,
and then just move
and
to the side.
it's and they've got the other moment as well when Igor goes, I blame myself, and just straight away, don't worry, so do I. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then it's my moment to breathe, and then like you say.
Then
Ray says this, and then they just slowly shuffle away. Nobody talks.
Yeah, they just.
It's not played as a big deal.
Yeah, it's not like, I'm going to get over this side of the.
Yeah. Oh hell no.
Oh hell no! I'm
the devil is a liar.
And this is the thing. Constantly during this film, they don't let anything breathe. Not the comedy, not the suspense.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Even when they're not on camera.
They're still gibbering.
Yeah. There's just background talking.
It's just constant. And there were so many cuts as well. There's scenes that just could be cut out.
Yeah, you brought this up several times. Certainly early on in the film.
Like dead cuts. They need to put several dead... They could have put several dead cuts in from one moment of... I can't even remember what it was.
You used a good example when... quite early on when Kristen Wiig was fired from the university. She has a conversation with Charles Dance. She's... he sort of calls her out. She's been outed on YouTube as this paranormal believer. The video's going around. But instead of just... And what should have happened is we immediately cut to her in the lab with Abby and...
Well, I'm fired.
But instead, they have to have that scene of her walking down the corridor with a bunch of characters that we've never seen before, with her box
There's no relation to her. We've never seen her before. Yeah, saying,
Nobody responds to her.
Been sacked. Carrying the box down the hallway.
I've not been fired, just moving offices.
Stop it.
Just
dead cut. The other example, when they go to get money from the dean of that university, because that would have got rid of one of the single worst scenes in movie history, full stop. But again, instead of having this whole scene where basically the dean or the principal or whatever, the head of this place, does some of the worst fucking humour, and I know you can't see me doing the quotation marks, but I'm driven to do them for this. Finding different ways to flip them off. At the end, that was the whole skit, and this went on for a good 3 minutes.
In this female empowerment movie, just 3 women sitting there like in silence, being told off by this man just repeatedly flipping the bird.
You could say in this female empowerment movie, there's 3 girls just sitting there as one guy just gives them a finger.
Yeah. Do you hear me, Paul Feig?
Paul Feig. It's so instead of doing that whole scene, they could have said the previous scene was, we're going to go and ask for more money. And you could have dead cut it to them just having the principal's or the dean's door
slamming the door in their face.
Yeah, or slamming the door in the face or behind them, and they're all just looking, going, well, that didn't work,
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. Funny.
Instead...
And you've cut fucking 3 pointless minutes out of your film.
Yeah. So that sums it up, really. Yeah, I mean, that's one aspect that sums up, but like I say, it's just perfect. It's stuffed with stuff that they thought, oh, some of this has got to be funny.
Yeah.
They must have known doing it wasn't funny.
Well, this is the thing. Did they know this?
No, they can't. Surely they cannot. Like, they must have had like some sort of professional courtesy.
Well, that's sort of the thing. I mean, when you look at, say, the examples of the behind-the-scenes stuff for the Star Wars prequels, it's full of George Lucas coming out of these terrible jokes and ideas.
Yes.
People are afraid to speak up. They're just sort of smirking. And there's an awkwardness in the room, but nobody's got the balls to speak up because this is a paycheck for these people.
Exactly.
There's very little integrity in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And plus, they were hoping to get a franchise out of this. For all these people working on this film were like, this could be 2 or 3 films guaranteed work.
That's shocking
that
to
work
think
out
of that
for you?
now.
Yeah.
I mean, so like I say, it was just, it was made too politely.
Yeah.
It was made too poorly. Because I mean, there's basic continuity errors throughout this entire film. Like, to bog standard, this is what you learn in media studies at college, as we did.
This is how we met.
Yeah. The TV, like, in one scene they're in the lab again, and they're talking or something about the comment section on the internet, and then all of a sudden the TV's just on.
Yeah, 'cause they do the hilarious line, this woman's got a ghost in her home, she can't just call the police, she can't just call a friend, who can she call? And then all of a sudden the TV pipes up, Ghost Hunters! The TV wasn't on, and all of a sudden it just comes on at the perfect volume at a certain time.
Just no.
And then the point where they go and visit the mansion that we first see being haunted, and they turn up looking for the guy, and he's just stood for no reason on the other side of the street. No reason why he's there. He's just stood on the other side of the road to this house.
Despite him being terrified by this thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's showing no ill effects from being attacked by a ghost. 2 days previous?
No.
You get no explanation at the start of the film when Kristen Wiig is dancing in a lecture hall, and the guy just walks in. He's just allowed to walk into a college hall and just start talking to her, confront her before she's about to do a class.
That just sums this film
It's just
up.
lazy.
It's just, yeah.
Just really, really lazy.
It's just a very poor, like you say, from minute 1 to the final credit, it's just a poorly made film. And again, notice how we've not mentioned anything about because they have vaginas. This is the problem, and this is what I want to get onto before we go too far down the rabbit hole. Liberals.
Okay.
Both of us would see ourselves as liberal-ish, I'd imagine.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I would like to think I'm open-minded to, a lot of progressive causes, some more so than others, but just because 4 women are in this film doesn't mean you should hold it up as something that it is not.
No.
Doubling down and arguing the toss just makes you look a stupid cunt. There's no way around it. Either A, you're only doing it because you want to be seen as the progressive liberal. No, women do need something. Oh, it was brilliant. I thought all the women were fantastic. All the haters can just hate on. That is...
Hate on.
Hate on, dear haters. It does not touch me. Your hate deflects off me like bullets. Just bing! And this is the problem. And that's like the mentality and the psyche that some of the people that give this thing... Oh, I enjoyed it. Did you really? Or are you just saying that? And that's what harms fucking art and media and film and songs and all of this. Yeah.
And it's especially frustrating because there's a film we're going to be talking about in our next podcast, our sort of 2018 recap so far, called Annihilation. That's just recently been released on Netflix.
Perfect example.
Natalie Portman is the star of this, and there's... I can't remember the name of the other actresses.
Tessa Thompson?
I think Tessa Thompson's in it, and there's 4 sort of...
Yeah.
Not all scientists, but, well-educated women, strong women,
Empowered
doing
women.
intelligent things It's an intellectual movie, and nobody's fucking talking about it. Nobody wants to know.
It's gone straight
bombed.
to Netflix over here.
Yeah, bombed at the American box office. Where were you then?
Yeah. Where's the pushing of this agenda?
Yeah, well, you've actually got 4 strong female characters.
You've got something that you can actually hold up and say, this is good. Look how women can...
This should be the beacon.
Yeah, and it is not. Instead, they basically put all their chips on freaking Ghostbusters and got burnt horribly. Because I think even now, a lot of the people that backed this film have just moved away from it and never come back to it because they know. They know that it was shit.
It's not talked about when you think of all of the controversy and all of the drama that led up to this film.
Yeah,
For what?
After 2 weeks, it all died down.
Yeah.
But the people that still were in the pro camp doubled down with their reviews or their comments, but they never back it up. They never bring it back to the table as an example for, we need more women in Hollywood. Yeah, let's say Wonder Woman. Again, another example. Female director, female empowered lead character. Fucking wowed the world over.
Yeah.
Because it was well written. It's a well made film. It was well shot. It was well conducted. It was everything. That's the...
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned the hope was for a franchise out of this Ghostbusters film. That's dead in the water because this was for all of the people who wanted to big it up beforehand, where were they at the box office? Because this thing bombed, and bombed bad.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, you can't put that down to... my friend Brian said it was shit, so I ain't going to see it. It's a Ghostbusters film.
Yeah.
Despite shitting on this, what was the first thing I said to you? You need to go see this just to know.
Exactly.
And I've said that to everyone.
Always get the better.
I've said, if you have the chance, watch this film. Because even now, if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking... That Graham sounds a bit of a sex. It can't be that bad. They must have some sort of agenda deep down inside that even they've repressed, but it's there. No, seriously, go watch this film. I openly say, go watch this film. I'm not saying avoid it. I'm saying actively seek this fucking thing out and try to fucking sit through it for fucking
tell us we're wrong.
bastard hours. Because I look forward to anybody rebuttaling in the comments section below.
Did we even mention at the start of this podcast that we've just sat through this? Did we even bring that up? The fact that right before recording this, we actually sat down and watched this.
Yeah. So we've done that. We've watched it twice now. Just to make sure we watched this before.
Oh yeah, we're not just doing this from memory. 2 years ago.
We just watched this.
Yeah, I've been at work all day on a Sunday. I got back and I just sat through Ghostbusters 2016. Answer the call.
I had a combination of chili and Indian food last night, and I've been in discomfort since.
Are you in more discomfort now?
I forgot about needing to shit constantly because this has just taken that urge away from me.
Yeah.
My mind has something more fixated to worry about.
Absolutely.
I've got enough. I mean, like you say, you could rant and rant and rant. Even the score. They got that wrong. Fallout Boy and Missy Elliott.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Like, every decision they could have possibly made for this film, they hardly made one right one. At least I'm surprised they managed to even turn the fucking cameras on at this point.
Yeah, I mean, on that subject, we've talked about the one little laugh that I got on this occasion out of it. Can we think of any positives? Anything good in the name of balance that we can say about this film?
That one joke landed.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like a fucking side splitter, but it landed.
It was a...
Yeah. Which shocked us.
Yeah, we were a little bit rattled.
I don't know what happened for that next 5 minutes of the film, actually, because we were too busy wondering what had just happened. Okay, context. Good things.
Leslie Jones wasn't as bad as we expected.
Leslie Jones was okay, and like I say,
she was the pick of the 4 Ghostbusters, I would say.
Yeah.
Not that that's saying much, but going back to the trailer, she was the one that
everybody went, oh shit.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the bits from the trailer that looked terrible are terrible.
Yeah.
But at least
there's a few bits and bobs.
Some sort of human element. There's a few little moments where she actually shows fear of the ghost. Because that's a big problem that we haven't touched upon, is that At no point are we expected to.
Nobody's ever afraid of ghosts. I know the tagline for Ghostbusters is "I ain't afraid of no ghosts." No fucker's afraid of ghosts.
Well, that's it, right from the off. And I know people could point at the original and say there's a few moments where Bill Murray, sort of in particular, Venkman is looking at the ghost and makes a wisecrack.
But Bill Murray's like that character of Venkman. I'm pretty sure he's stoned throughout it all.
Early on, we are given context, and we do see that he shows fear of these ghosts. And the opening scene, for example, with the
Go get her, right?
the library, and the librarian being attacked by the ghost. We're shown, take these things seriously. They're a genuine threat and something to worry about. And we see them in threatening situations throughout the film where the Ghostbusters struggle to get to grips with this.
Yeah.
We don't really get that in this. It just goes from nothing to they're great Ghostbusters. We don't really see them struggle particularly. Maybe a little bit in the subway.
Oh, and the big action fight scene in Times Square.
Well, I mean, that's just beyond. I mean, the slow motion fight scene with the Kate McKinnon, is it Holtzman, her character? At no point has she been established as some badass fighter.
Whip swinging.
But she just mows through these things. And how, why should we as an audience care or feel any sense of tension or threat?
When that happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the weaker bits in the original, but at least we get that moment of, to conquer the day here, we're going to have to cross the streams. And even though it was a little bit, a bit of a throwaway line early on, that, this is a bad thing, it's not exactly... At least they have established it.
Yeah.
And it's this thing we finally have to do to win the day. There's nothing like that in this at all.
Not a damn thing. I'd say two other points that I've just remembered, which pissed me off, and it's got nothing to do with where we are now in the conversation, but the gig scene.
Oh yes, the Ozzy Osbourne concert.
The Ozzy Osbourne concert, which we've tried to talk ourselves away from.
We've tried to rationalise it. Yeah.
Rationalise that it's daytime, but we'll say it's a 6:30 summertime.
Yeah, it could still be
all day festival. Ozzy isn't playing on stage; it's the opening band. Ozzy could be 4 hours down the line from now. So, all right, we'll take that. Whatever. Okay. The problem is when the ghost lands on Leslie Jones and picks her up, and she goes, "Well, no, just going home now," kind of thing. She walks slowly. Have a look at the scene where everybody's looking. 2, 3 at most, out of a sea of people are looking at Leslie Jones rather than the supposed ghost that's on top of her. And it's a big fucking thing. It's like a dragon.
Well, that's a big part of the problem, is that...
Who the fuck shot... Like, that's terrible directing.
It's so basic, and nobody treats this thing as a threat.
No.
They're just on stage making wisecracks at the ghost.
As it flies around.
And nobody's screaming or nobody's panicking in the audience. They're all just stood there in reverent silence as the characters talk to each other across the room in this crowded auditorium.
Like, not one person's gone, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, or screaming, "Oh my god, let's get out of here."
There hasn't been a Great Dane anywhere going, "Roast!"
Reggie!
Gone. It just... Oh.
Scooby-Doo!
So that pissed me off. And that pissed me off so much now, I forgot what my other fucking point was going to be. And it was a decent point as well. Fuck you, Ghostbusters!
I mean, this is one of the few films that I can actually remember my cinematic experience watching it. Because I watched it, I went on my own, as I often do to the cinema. That's generally my preferred way of watching films, because...
Humanity sucks.
Yeah, people are cunts.
Yeah, sorry.
And I think there was probably about, maybe between 35 and 40 people in this screening. It was quite late on a weeknight, but there was about that many people in there. Combination of couples, there was a few other people on their own, a few families. By the end, less than half of the people remained. And I've never seen that before. I've seen films where a few people have gone, before the end, if it's a particularly long film. But usually when they go, they'll have to make some sort of wisecrack so everybody knows they're going. Oh, this is a piece of shit. None of that. It was just people giving up.
People lost the will to enjoy cinema because of this film.
Before. I've never seen that many people leave and just walk out.
If you really want us to rant furthermore, just leave a comment, just poking the beehive.
Yeah.
Just say, "Well, I liked it." You'll get a far more coherent, impassioned response from pretty much me and people.
Yeah, I've been drinking.
Yeah. So that's Ghostbusters 20. Any other shit you want to fling at it?
I can't. I don't think I've got the willpower to go on anymore.
No. we've tried to base it as rational as possible to point our points across from a filmmaking point of view, a film writing point of view, a film score point of view. Fall Out Boy, Missy Elliott, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And if you still think we're sexist, then you're a cunt.
Yeah.
You're an absolute twat. Fuck off.
You're an absolute lady garden.
Yeah. You are one. Again, you're one of these liberals. Not the good liberals. The pretentious, the self. It's almost their own ego they're trying to build up. I want to be seen doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They're the type of people that support this film still. Don't be one of them.
Don't be a smug liberal.
Don't be a smug liberal. Be more like Ricky Gervais. So
going forward then, leaving Ghostbusters behind, this is possibly going to be a regular feature where we look back retrospectively on films.
Indeed.
Because talking about the future, we've
got... 2 guys, 1 retrospective.
Yeah, 2 guys, 1 miserable evening.
Well, hopefully not. I would like to pick some good films occasionally.
Well, just for context, some of the stuff we've talked about as a possibility is the entire fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks series.
Yeah, that's a movie marathon. An actual marathon.
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Pixels.
But we're open to suggestions, if anyone has anything in particular that you think might push us over the edge, by all means, leave us a little comment. If it's anything that you think is worthy of the treatment.
Or even if you like a film, and you really enjoy a film, and you would like to see if we like it.
Put it on a pedestal.
Put it on the pedestal. We won't deliberately try and knock the... We're not cynical because it's the shtick that we're doing. No, I love film. Pete loves film. I love how they're crafted. I love how they're written and made more than the actual end product in a lot of times. I love the intricacies of how it came about. So, like I say, we're not shitting on it just to go along with it. We've just picked a very bad film because we wanted to in this instance.
This is
I want to talk about good films.
Project.
Yeah, I want to wax lyrical about the Star Trek series at some point.
Oh.
You don't want me to, but I do. So
I'm looking forward to that Raiders of the Lost Ark retrospective one day.
Oh, don't talk to me about Indiana Jones. Amy still hasn't seen any of the Indiana Jones.
Speaking of Indiana Jones, that
Crystal Skull.
3 hours of Christmas Day static is going to have to get the 2 guys one sofa treatment at some point.
That could be the Christmas special. Indy. So yes, leave comments below. This is not the end of the discussion. We are quite happy to keep on talking about this.
Yeah.
Good or bad, if we're going to rant at you or we're going to agree with you, it doesn't matter. That's what it's here for. Get it off your chest.
Opinions make the world go round.
Indeed, but ours is right and yours is probably wrong.
Yeah.
So on that note...
so as we mentioned before, coming up next in the coming future will be our sort of early stages 2018 so far.
Because we've got to catch up on stuff, because we've been AWOL for 3 months.
Yeah, we've got a few movies to catch up on. We'll be doing spotlight episodes, certainly on, I think, the Avengers Infinity War when that comes along.
There's loads of stuff, actually.
Solo.
Solo's
the latest Star Wars standalone.
Something's out on my birthday or the day before my birthday. Oh, that's Avengers, I think.
I think, that's on around that time.
There are many things to come. There are many things to come.
We are looking for more content.
I mean, we could... There's going to be, like you say, the little editorial pieces. Is that the right word? The editorial, is it? When we'll just do written up reviews of films that we see.
If perhaps it's not podcast worthy.
Yeah, I've already done one just to get the ball rolling. Pete's got an idea for one, I think.
Yeah, I'm possibly in the next week or so going to be seeing Unsane at the cinema.
Ooh.
So look out for that.
Yay. Until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and we're ready to believe you. That's a callback, by the way.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah. Because I'm having cake and eating it because I'm fat like Melissa McCarthy.
Ghostbusters.